going down memory lane. I'm on this tape. I'm taping the life of Jack and Brother Jack. Of all the pictures that I have of the family that he is in, some of the old pictures at home, I imagine he was given to him by Marguerite and Adelia, so I have a limited number of pictures, but I'm putting them all on tape to preserve them, as some of the pictures are getting mighty bad shape. To start off with, this is the beginning before Jack was thought of. This is Mom and Daddy on their wedding day in 1898. Now this is Mama's mother, Amelia Tingley Schatz. Now this is Mama's daddy, Franklin Schatz. Now this is Daddy's mother, Clarabelle Horner Wheat. This is Daddy's father, Henry Clifton Wheat. This is Daddy's father again, Henry Clifton Wheat, in his latter years. It was taken on the front porch of Free Mabel's home. He lived to be 97 years old. Now this Mom and Dad taken in 1930 at Ocean View. I think it was July the 18th, 1930. It's taken at Ocean View, Virginia. This is one of the better pictures of Daddy. It was taken in probably the real late 1930s to early 1940s. It's Wilbur Cecil Wheat. And this is one of the better pictures of Mama, Fanny Schatz Wheat. This is Ardelia and Jack when Jack was a baby, taken in Hilton Village, Virginia. That's the house that Jack was born in. It's on Warwick Road. I had to move from Hilton Village to up to this area. We moved on Stafford, Virginia, at Greenway Farm. And one Sunday we had company from Hilton Village, family by the name of Savage. So this is us children sitting on the front steps of the house over in Greenway Farms. On the front row, left to right, that is Jack, Dot, Dorothy Wheat, Gilbert's daughter. Then there's Eloise Savage and myself. In the back row, left to right, is Freed. Then there's Louis Savage. We moved from Greenway Farm in Stafford into Fredericksburg, and that's on 1211 Main Street, which is Caroline Street now. And that's Jack standing in front of Mama. Then there's Marguerite standing back of Mama with the head on her shoulder. This is a picture of Jack and Mama. It was taken from one of those little ping pong pictures you used to get down in Woolworth. But it's a little bigger than a postage stamp, and that was enlarged and made from that. That's Jack and Mama. Now I have several of those little ping pong pictures I was taken down in Wilbur. That's one of when Jack was just a youngster. And this is another one of those real small ping pong pictures. Now here's two more of them. These are fastened together, so it's one that Jack with his glasses on and one with his glasses off. And here's two more little ping pong pictures. They're fastened together. Both these he has his glasses on. For little pictures, they turn out right nice. Now this is a home we lived at on Charles Street, 1206 Charles Street. That's the house where Daddy passed away. This is Jack, myself, and Fred. That's taken October the 29th, 1933. Into a nick or something. I hadn't been working for Safeway at that time, already about 7 months. So I started in February of 1933. The reason I'm putting this in, this is Reverend Hunter H. Newman. He's the one that baptized Jack, Fred, and I at the same time. We was all in the baptistry pool at the same time. And this is Jack in the, I'd say in the late 1930s. Now this is graduation, high school graduation time for Jack in 1939. That's in the backyard there at home on Charles Street. And Mama graduated too. Yeah, Mama put Jack's cap and gown on and had her picture taken there in the backyard in 1939. This is Jack and Rosemary. I guess it was taken in sometime in the early 1940s. This one, a little dime-store ping pong pictures. This is Jack and Rosemary. This is a picture Jack I just taken in the early 1940s. And this is Rosemary Wheat. I was taken about the same time the other picture of Jack was taken, probably in the 1940s, early 1940s. And this is one of those little ping pong pictures like used to get down in Woolsworth. Rosemary. That was taken probably early 1940s. This is Jack and Rosemary's wedding picture. A judge has taken June the 27th, 1941. It's a big picture. To get a picture of the face, I have to bring up close to the camera. But I'll take it away from the picture, we'll lose some of its focus, I'm sure, because the camera was hard to focus in on a picture that it's hard to focus in on a picture that the face, so you won't get a good picture of them except a close-up picture like that. This is another picture of Rosemary, probably taken in the early 1940s. That's a picture of Rosemary taken in 1939. Now this must have been taken just before Jack and I went in service. At the far end of the table, that's Mama, then that's Marguerite standing, myself, Edna, and Jack. I think that must have been taken just before we went in service. Hard to get a good focus on these some of these closet pictures. Now this was taken in 1936. On the front row, that's Jack, Marguerite, Ardelia, and Ruth. And the back row is Freed, Daddy, Mama, myself, and Gilbert. Now this was taken on Daddy's birthday, June the 16th, 1942. In the front row, that's Daddy, Mama, Marguerite, Ardelia, and Ruth. And the back row is Gilbert, Freed, Jack, and myself. And this picture was taken just before Jack and I went in service. That's Mom and Daddy sitting down front, Freed, myself, and Jack. It's taken just before Jack and I went in service. I don't know when this was taken. It must have been warm weather because we all got our shirts peeled off. That's me, Billy, and Gilbert, and Jack, and Freed. This must have been one of Mama's birthdays, I don't know. Probably taken out of Alum Springs or someplace. That's Mama sitting down to the table. And then back of Mom was Ruth, Ardelia, and Marguerite. Then in the back row is Jack, myself, Freed, and Gilbert. This was taken in 1946. That's Jack in front of the home on Charles Street with Daddy's little cocker spaniel, Rusty. And that's Rosemary in front of the house on Charles Street with Daddy's little dog, Rusty. This is another picture of Jack with Daddy's little dog, Rusty. This is a picture of Rosemary. I don't know exactly where that was taken at, but This is a picture of Jack after he went in partnership with Uncle Sam. This is a picture of Jack taken on Charles Street in front of the house in uniform. That's another picture of Jack in uniform. That's Jack in his winter clothes. I guess he was probably getting ready to ship out. He has his heavy clothes on. There's Jack with his shirt off there on his boat out in the Pacific. He was aboard a little engineer landing craft. There's Jack on his landing craft at the wheel. That's there in the South Pacific somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Boy, after I left the States, went to South Pacific, the only boy I met that I knew was my own brother, Jack. He was on the island of Leyte, and I was evacuated from the hospital in Cebu to Leyte. And there's a little foreign boy in the bed beside me, yapping, and I asked what outfit is he in. He said 543rd Engineers. That's my brother there. So Jack was stationed up on the beach, so I crawled out of bed and told the doctor there's nothing wrong with me. And I went up on the beach, and there's Jack now on the beach on the island of Leyte in the Philippines. Well, the war's over, and I was sent up to Japan, and I hadn't seen anyone else since I saw Jack that I knew. Until one day Jack walked in our aid station in the Yokohama, there on the waterfront. So I saw my own brother. The only person I knew overseas was my own brother twice, and that's me on the left and Jack on the right in the city of Kamakura, in front of the big Buddha statue there. He spent a few days with me, and we went up to did a little sightseeing. That's Jack and I in front of the Buddha statue in Kamakura, Japan. That's another picture. That's just Jack alone standing there in front of the statue there in Kamakura of the big Buddha. That's Jack and I at the 377th Port Battalion Aid Station on the waterfront there in Yokohama. That's where Jack come in to get something to eat, and saw that's 377th Port Battalion Medical Detachment. That's how come he to come in. That's me, Jack and I in front of the aid station. Now the next picture is right straight in front of Jack and I, about 50, 60 feet in front of us. Our next picture will be taken. You won't be able to recognize, but that's in Yokohama, Japan. Well, where I was standing in the other picture, a few days later, the old train pulled up from 4th Replacement Depot, and I was out when they come by, and He stopped there to change tracks. And there was Jack in the boxcar door. You can see the air going down. You can't recognize him. But he's standing in the boxcar door. Because the ship was in the harbor he was going to take home, which harbor was about a mile and a half down that track. And there was Jack on that boxcar, so I got to see him before he left. Because they posted a officer to keep the boys from jumping off the boxcar when they pull up to a stop, the officer. But I got to talk to Jack before he come home. This is Jack's outfit, but I can't get them all on there. It's a big picture. But and the names is on the back of the picture, but there'd be no need of calling names out. Jack is the second one from the left. There in the picture. He's the second one there on the left. And the rest of the boys was in his outfit. See, the picture's just too big to get in there. All in the frame. It's a big picture, but I can't get it all in there, so I'll just get his head and shoulders in there, because it's hard to get this camera focused in on a picture too far away from it. That's a great big picture, but and I hold it way away from the camera. That's the best I can get it. It's the picture. It gets down to almost to its waist, but to get it in focus, get his face. That's all that picture I can get. This is a studio proof that I had. I don't know what happened to the original. The picture's taken off, but in the front row that is Marguerite, Ardea, and Ruth. The back row from the left is Gilbert, Freed, myself, and Jack. This is another picture of Jack. I think this was taken probably about 1940. That's a picture of Carol, which is a baby. And there's another picture of Carol when she was just a baby. That was a school picture of Carol. That's Carol when she was a majorette or a junior majorette in the Fredericksburg High School band. This is another picture of Carol in the majorette uniform. And I think this is another school picture of Carol. Now these could be school pictures here of Carol. Another picture of Carol. Now this is Carol when she's in the Job's Daughters. I just, I guess that's the high school picture of Pearl. That's Carl and, oh, I can't place his face now. You have to tell him, Carol. At a wedding. And that'd be Carol's wedding. That's Kevin Pitts, Carol's little baby boy. That's little Kevin and Janelle, his little baby sister. That's Christmas 1973. It's Carol and Kevin and Janelle. That's Janelle. That must be a school picture. And that's another picture of Janelle, I judge. That's the school picture. And that's Kevin. And I think that must be a school picture. Kevin Pitts. This Janelle must be Janelle and her new husband. I can't remember what his name was now. Excuse me, but there's no name on that picture. Now here's the catbird. This is Kenny. This is a studio proof of Kenny. I don't know. They must not. Don't have the finished product, but that's a studio proof. Kenny, maybe you pull the curtains down before you get left there. That's a picture of Kenny. I judge that must be a school picture. This is Kenny in his sheriff's uniform in January 1975, taken in Aunt Di and Aunt Dee's backyard. Now this is Karen and Carolyn's little girl, Heather. She's 3 months old there. Large picture, so I won't be able to put the upper part of her body in that. But she wasn't quite 2 years old. That's Heather. And this is Heather at 3 years old. And this is Heather at 4 years old. This is Pam. I judge it's her high school picture. Another picture of Pam. Now this is Pam and Craig's wedding. this is little Kelly Marie. And this is Aaron. Now this is Pam, Craig, and Aaron. Now this is a picture of Aaron. And this is another picture of Aaron. And this is a picture of Kelly Marie. Now this is Jack and Rosemary, and it's no date or no name on the picture. And I can't focus that in well enough to, but I judge that's Carol and Kenny in that pictures. I just can't focus it in enough to get the faces. And this is Jack and Rosemary out at the cemetery, and I can't get that focused in enough to really get a clear picture of the face of the two children. But I just judge that's Carol and Kenny. Now this is Jack and the family taken in 1965. That's Carol and Pam. Pam standing in front of Rosemary, and then Jack and Kenny. That's taken in 1965. I don't know if I bring it up, we're getting a better facial pictures or not. This was an outing that Jack had when he lived on Pendleton Street over in Fair Farm. And I know some on there, but I don't know them all. Let me see, starting at the far right, there's Adelia, then Freed sitting down in the white shirt, and Jimmy in the plaid shirt, and Mabel next to him. Then standing in the far back on the left is Cecil. Then Ardelia is standing in front of him, and I think that's Kenny standing to the right of Adelia, to the left of Adelia. This is Christmas in 1973. That's on the left is Carol, Jack and Rosemary, and Pam sitting down in front, then Carolyn and Kenny. Christmas 1973. Now these are Jack's grandchildren. On the back row, that's on the left, it's Aaron, Heather, and Kevin. On the front row on the left is Kelly Marie, Janelle, and Valerie. By bringing this up, we'll get in a better facial expression than that. This is Jack and Rosie in the and 90s. We got a little table set up in the living room, so that must be, I judge it must be New Year's Eve. Jack and Rosie. This was taken Christmas Eve 1978, but I won't be able to tell you but a few on it. On the right there's Rosie and Jack and Carol and David Roman's. Only four that I can really get a good facial picture on to tell who they are. Maybe somebody in the family that sees these will know who's there, but I just can't. There's no names on the picture, so I'd be at a miss trying to identify them. This is Marguerite's 80th birthday. That's Adelia, Marguerite, and Ruth in front, and Jack and myself standing in the back. Marguerite's 80th birthday. And that's all the pictures I have of Jack's family. This is Carolyn and Kenny's wedding at the Ferry Baptist Church in Fredericksburg. This is another picture of Carolyn and Kenny's wedding. There's a little flower girl over on the left. Reception at Kenny and Carolyn's wedding is Carolyn and Kenny cutting the cake, and I don't know who the two people are at the end of the table, the little girl from the table. Carolyn and Kenny is in the center, on the right there's Rosemary and Jack, and on the left side Carolyn is Carolyn's mother and father. And this is after the wedding. It's they're coming out to church, getting ready to go on their honeymoon. Carol and Kenny up to come out to church, and I don't know who these people are standing at the back to the camera. This is Carol and Kenny in the car at the church. They've got the car really decorated up, and I guess they have half the newspapers posted in Fredericksburg for a week, rolled up and just balled up and packed in that car. The car is packed full of newspapers, just crumpled up. And that's the car that's really decorated up for leaving the home, getting ready to go on their honeymoon. They really have the car really decorated up for when to start a honeymoon trip. Having some electrical problems here at the house, and I called Jack, and he come over working on my electrical system here in the basement. This is when Christmas here at home. I don't remember what Christmas was, but there's Carol, Jack, and Rosie in our family room. one Christmas in the, I guess in the early 70s. I think this is Pam's and Craig's wedding. Seems to be at the reception after the wedding. This is another picture. Pam giving Craig a bite of their wedding cake. I almost got these pictures backwards because they're just cutting the wedding cake now, so I got these slides in backwards. These last colored pictures are all from slides. Yeah, this is just the beginning of the reception of Pam and Craig. There's Craig on the right, and there's Pam and Jack and Craig's mother, Mrs. Horton. Mr. Horton is Rosemary way back on the end. This is after the wedding. There was pictures taken. That's on the left. There's Mr. and Mrs. Horton, Craig's mother and father. There's Craig and Pam in the back, and there's Rosemary and Jack on the right. This is Pam and Craig after the wedding in front of the church, and I think that is what as good a pictures I want to get of them. That's in front of the church. This was taken down the basement at home on Winchester Street. I don't know whether this was a Christmas or what, but there's, on the right there's Mabel, that's David Roan, there's Jack, and I think that is Jerry Calloway with June on the left. And this is, every time I had lots of problems that I couldn't take care of myself, I asked Jack to come over. So this is another time that Jack come over and was working on my switch box in the basement. That's Kenny and June. Kenny was with the sheriff's department, and he stopped by home one afternoon and June was home. So that's a picture of Kenny and June there in our driveway. In his sheriff's uniform. This must have been at Carolyn's baby shower before Heather was born. This was taken up at Ruth's place on Winchester Street. That's Carolyn there, but I don't know who that lady is there, or the one. It looked like it might be Pam sitting with the back to the camera in the foreground. And that's Carolyn and Kenny before Heather was born. That was taken there I guess that was, I don't know whether Aunt Dee, Aunt Dice or not. It doesn't look like it though. Here on